what's trending now.
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that.
News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, Democrats have managed to flip the New York House seat of George Santos. They had a special election yesterday, and it was former Representative Tom Suozzi who won back his old seat in the House. So that gives Democrats then a critical pickup that will even further narrow the GOP House majority. So Suozzi, the winner of that election yesterday. Also, the House of Representatives yesterday voted to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. They approved 2 articles of impeachment against Mayorkas, accusing him of not enforcing U.S. immigration laws. And it was by a single vote. The vote was 214 to 213. So the question becomes whether or not, what will happen in the Senate. You are impeached in the House. In other words, they've approved the charges. Then the trial is held in the Senate, and the Senate makes a decision as to whether to convict or not. It's really unlikely that they will. We'll talk about that in more detail coming up this morning. Also, Paramount has laid off 800 employees. This is company-wide layoffs at Paramount Global. And it's impacting not only Paramount employees, but then employees at CBS News. Catherine Herridge is a name that you might remember. She spent a lot of time at Fox News before jumping over to CBS. She's among those who have been laid off at CBS News. So 800 employees being laid off by Paramount. And again, I think it was about 20 CBS News journalists who were laid off. Also, President Biden yesterday going after Donald Trump and the comments that Trump made encouraging Russia to attack NATO allies. Yeah, it's not actually what Trump said. But the president going after Trump, and he said NATO members are uneasy about this, and the president had some he accused Trump of playing into Putin's hands. So, also the stock market yesterday had its worst loss in nearly a year. And this largely due, there was a report on inflation that came out, and it was not good news. So the president tweeted on Saturday, good news to start the weekend. The stock market going strong is a sign of confidence in America's economy. And then, boom, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 524 points from its record set a day earlier. It was down 1.4%. High interest rates hurt all kinds of investments. And the issue of inflation continues to be, many are watching what's going on with inflation. Inflation ran hotter in January than had been forecast by economists. So again, says high prices remain sticky, and it makes it harder for the Federal Reserve to decide here as to when to begin cutting its benchmark rate, as to whether or not they will. So, as with inflation last month, higher housing and food prices were the big drivers. Consumer prices rose 3.1% in January from a year earlier, the government said yesterday. Also, do you remember Tony Bobulinski? He was a former business partner of Hunter Biden's, and he was involved in some of the early contacts with a Chinese energy, conglomerate. Bobulinski he gave a closed-door interview, and reports are out, just the news has got a story, saying that his answers behind closed doors may answer some questions that are central to the impeachment inquiry. So there may have been information from Bobulinski that could be damning for President Joe Biden. And, he's reiterated again that Joe Biden was the big guy. So as you heard them talking about the big guy was Joe Biden. Speaking of President Joe Biden, he's calling for House Republicans to get behind that Senate spending bill that would send about $600 billion to Ukraine. So he said that refusal to take up the bill passed by the Senate would be playing into Putin's hands. He said supporting this bill is standing up to Putin. And he was making pretty strong comments here, raising his voice, saying we can't walk away now. That's what Putin is betting on. It's not likely to do well in the House as to whether or not the House will even vote on this. And then he also, as part of this, so he was calling on the House Republicans to back this supplemental spending bill. Then he went after Trump. Biden saying when America gives its word, it means something. Donald Trump looks at this as if it's a burden, he said. So you got Democrats supporting the bill. Chuck Schumer, who said, with this bill, the Senate declares that American leadership will not waver, will not falter, will not fail, he said. The U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday gave Jack Smith, he's the special counsel, they gave him 1 week to respond to Donald Trump's request to keep his federal January 6th trial on hold as he appeals his immunity claims. So the Supreme Court ordered Smith to respond by Tuesday, February 20th. Also, Amazon is facing a lawsuit. And this is coming from Prime Video users. So there are Prime Video users who are angry and filing a lawsuit claiming that Amazon misled Prime subscribers by charging them an additional fee to stream movies and TV shows without ads. So this is a proposed class action lawsuit filed Friday in California federal court. Claims breach of contract, violations of state consumer protection laws on behalf of users who saw the terms of their subscriptions with Amazon change when Amazon pivoted to making its ad tier the default for over 100 million subscribers. Yeah, you'd already purchased Prime Video, and then Amazon suddenly changing the rules midstream. Can't blame people for being angry about that. Chicago Mayor Johnson has announced that they are canceling their deal with Spot Shotter. Spot Shotter is gunshot detection technology, And the Chicago Police Department has praised it. It says it helps them fight crime. Spot shotter. So the city of Chicago will not be renewing its contract with that technology. And they released a statement. This is the mayor's office, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's office, released the statement yesterday morning saying that the contract would be extended through September 22nd, but it would end after that. So the city was facing a deadline for its $49 million contract with Spot Shotter, and they're canceling it. Also, New Orleans celebrated Fat Tuesday with Mardi Gras parades and celebrities yesterday. There are a number of stories trending around that. Katy Perry has announced that she'll be leaving American Idol after 7 seasons. She said she feels she needs to feel that pulse to my own beat, she said. So she announced her departure on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and she told Kimmel, I think this will be my last show, my last season for Idol. I love Idol so much. It's connected with me, it's connected me with the heart of America. But I feel like I need to go out and feel that pulse to my own beat. Also, major rideshare platforms set to strike today, Valentine's Day. So drivers affiliated with Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and other companies will go on strike today to protest working conditions. So these companies, they're sometimes called rideshare platforms, and they've been strongly criticized by drivers and labor advocates due to their corporate structure, where the drivers are not employees of the companies, but instead they're independent contractors, and they receive only a portion then of the amount the customers are charged. And they said Uber, Lyft, and delivery drivers are tired of being mistreated by the app companies. We're sick of working 80 hours a week just to make ends meet, being constantly scared for our safety, worrying about being deactivated with a click of a button. They said, we're going on strike and telling the app companies that we won't take it anymore, they say. Also, Donald Trump on Monday, talking about who's going to be serving in Republican leadership, the Republican National Committee. Trump backed his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, to serve as co-chair of the Republican National Committee. She's a firebrand. Laura Trump, she is a, and he also backed Michael Whatley to serve as the next chair of the RNC. And Trump said the RNC must be a good partner in the presidential election. It must do the work we expect from the National Party and do it flawlessly. That means helping to ensure fair and transparent elections across the country, getting out the vote everywhere, even in parts of the country where it won't be easy, and working with my campaign as the Republican presumptive nominee for president to win this election and make America great again, Trump said. Other stories that are trending, snowfall across the Northeast, has forced over 1,100 flights to be canceled. So more than 1,100 flights canceled, while heavy snow impacts New York and other cities in the Northeast United States. And then did you see that the creator of Pop-Tarts has died at the age of 96? Pop-Tarts were the invention of Bill Post. And, I used to love Pop-Tarts. Sadly, he died on Saturday, his family announced. He was 96 years old. So Post was a native of Michigan. He was the son of immigrants. Worked his way up from a truck washer to a senior vice president and brought joy to a lot of Americans in the morning when Pop-Tarts hit shelves back in 1964. So Bill Post, the inventor of Pop-Tarts, has died at the age of 96. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery.